Hello, good evening and welcome, guys. My microphone is now. Hello, good evening. Hopefully you can hear me now. I had a bit of an issue there. Guys, let me know in the live chat if you can hear me. Okay, so guys, no matter what tonight, it is the final home game of this season. It is the final game of the season. Thank you. Yeah, hello to everyone. Guys, yeah, so whatever we do, whatever we think of this team, we follow till the end. These are our boys. This is our religion. This is our church. We follow everywhere. Let's get straight on with the lineup tonight. So team tonight, guys, a few young players on the bench, a few players in that we perhaps would want to start, but this is the team lineup for tonight's game. Jack Butland in goal, no surprise there. Back four, James Tavernier, we know is going to start because literally there is nobody else, especially obviously with the news that Dujon Sterling is out injured. Ben Davies and Leon King start as the centre-half pairing today with no Suter, no Goldson and no Balogun. None of those players are available for this team. It is left. This is pretty much what we have left in the lineup. Ridvan is back. Great to see Ridvan back. Good to see that he is available and back and starting. Hopefully this is the start of him starting the last 4 games of the season. Really do need to have him in from the start for the rest of the season. The midfield pairing in front of the back 4 is Nicholas Raskin and Mo Diamande. That's good to see that we have got Nicholas Raskin in the team tonight. Nicholas Raskin is entering a 3-game period in his Rangers career where he has an awful lot to prove, an awful lot to live up to, an awful lot to kind of, I don't know, just show people and show Philippe Clement that he is and has a future at this club. You know, we saw at the end of last season a very promising start to his Rangers career that's obviously drifted off this season with the injuries and the loss of form. For me, when he came on Saturday, the team looked a lot better in midfield. They looked quicker, a lot more legs, got the ball forward quicker, moved it better with Raskin there over the useless John Lundstrom. Diamande obviously is a class act. I love Diamande. I don't get the criticism he gets from some fans. I've seen fans on X calling him pish and other things. But the things that Diamande does for this team, he receives the ball in tight areas. He directs the game. He uses the ball well. He breaks lines with his passing. He can go past the man. He is a top man. Then the 3 behind the striker looks like it is Ross McCausland on the right, Fabio Silva on the left, and Todd Cantwell back in the team. Now, for whatever your thoughts are on this, for me, Cantwell should have got minutes on Saturday. He should have been brought in and brought on at some point. You know, we might as well just go for it. I mean, we might as well get beat 3-1, 4-1, 5-1 as get beat 2-1, knowing that we needed to win that game. So for me, Todd Cantwell not getting any minutes was pretty bad on Saturday. McCausland on the right. Hopefully, Ross can live up to his, you know, his good form that he has shown at times this season. Be direct, not be afraid, go at people. Silva, I thought, put in a decent shift on Saturday, and obviously big Cyril Dessers starts up front. Our bench today is Robbie McCrory, Kieran Dowell, Scott Wright, Kamar Roof, Borna Barisic, and then we've got some young players on the bench. I'll be excited to see if any of these young players get a run out today. John Lee Yafeko, Robbie Fraser, captain of the B team, Alex Lowry, who spent part of this season on loan at Hearts, is on the bench, and Cole McKinnon, who has also played a part this season. Obviously, no Bailey Rice because he is currently out injured. So it'll be interesting as well to see if Borna Barisic and Kamar Roof come on in what will probably be their last ever appearance at Ibrox, hopefully. Aldo says, let's get to your, before we talk about the game tonight, let's get to some of your live chat comments. Aldo says, 55th minute walkout, I hear. That would be pretty amazing if that happens. Personally, I don't think that's the right thing to do. there are other ways to get across to the board and to get across to those in the in authority that we're not happy. I know this team have been a disappointment this season. I know this team have bottled it. I know this team have let us down, and I've been as big a critic as any. But you back your team no matter what. No, they've let us down badly, but could not walk out on my team. Sorry, says Janet. What else have we got? Scott, you've seen the team now. Is going, gone. Joy says it's not a bad lineup. That was obviously a reference to my disappearance. 55th minute walkout. Can't do that on the last game of the season. All those excited to see King. It's good to see some young ones starting to. Yes, it's good to see Leon King on there, McCausland on there, and it's also good as well to see some of those youngsters on the bench as well. Exciting. We'll get to that and talk about that. Thought that young striker would be there. You mean Josh Gentles, Bobby? Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the option, but I suppose there's only so many places. Looks a better team than the weekend, in my opinion, guys. What do you think? I think it looks a better team, if I'm being honest. I'd rather have that team against Celtic than the team that we actually played against them. I'm glad to see McCausland starting and Ridvan back in the starting lineup, says Stephen. I agree, Stephen. I think, for me, one of the big things about that lineup tonight is Ridvan and Silva link better. They work better together. So for me, that is a big step forward. Alder makes a great point here. Can't keep sacking managers. That's right. We cannot keep sacking managers. You look at the other teams in England that do that, the Watfords, the Chelseas of this world that keep on sacking their managers. It doesn't get you anywhere. It does not get you anywhere. A revolving door. You just end up having the same conversation season after season after season after season, which is, you know what, maybe next year when they get their own players. You know what, maybe next year when they get their own players. You know what, maybe next year when they get their own players. And it just keeps happening, and it's a Groundhog Day, and we can't keep having that Groundhog Day at the club. James says he doesn't care about tonight. Hopefully no more injuries. James says the defence is woeful. James says the bench is shit. That's a good starting 11, says Stephen. Lundstram is a no-go area now. Does not deserve to be mentioned in anything to do with the Gers moving forward, says Janet McFarlane. A point echoed by Aldo. David is buzzing for tonight. Tunnocks, hope these players really make their mark tonight. Me too. Yeah, you know what? I want to say something about this John Lundstram situation. If Clement picks Lundstram for the final, if he actually plays him in the final, which apparently he could be available for, and we lose that final, he is making a huge rod for his own back, a massive, massive rod for his own back. And I pray that he does not do it. Don't do it to Philip. Philippe, don't do it. Just basically write Lundstram off now. No more Lundstram. Hopefully Raskin, though, will come in over the next two games against Dundee and Hearts and show how good he actually can be and prove that we don't need John Lundstram. Rob Bell, how you doing, buddy? If they walk out, don't walk back in ever again. Pointless demo, says Bomber Brown. Hello from Toronto. Hey, Sid. How you doing? Sid is older. Oh, here we go. There we go. We've got one. We've got one already. Specky looking clown. I'm presuming this is a Tim. Goodbye, Mr. Tim. You are gone. I'd like to see the fans leave after the game. No lap of honour. That would be a better thing for me. If you're going to walk out when they do a lap of honour, because they don't deserve a lap of honour. I agree with that. Hope they don't walk out. Not the last home game of the season, says Aldo. Yes, support the team through thick and thin. We're not the other mobs. We stick with our team. Absolutely. Just would give that mob something to laugh about. Absolutely. Missed the lineup, but there's not two up front, James says. No, there isn't, James. There isn't two up front. There's the lineup for you, buddy. Put it up on the screen for you. What else have we got? Here we go. New Rangers fans are self-righteous and the club has already got a new gaffer in, won a cup and in a final. What else these idiots want, says Bomber Brown. I crack Aldo up. Agreed, Aldo. We're no, absolutely, 100%. Lundstram and Barisic should never play for Rangers again. I agree. I agree on that one. They should never play for Rangers ever again. I won't be surprised if we lose or draw, says DL2 Modder tonight. Guys, 142 people watching. Please, obviously, smash that like and help to promote the channel. James, the lineup is on the screen for you, buddy, if you want to have a quick look at that lineup. I mean, looking at that lineup tonight, it is an attacking lineup, isn't it? It is a lineup that has a lot of attacking promise in it. You look at that, you look at the players in midfield and the players in that three behind the main striker. They're all forward-thinking players. They're all top, they're all players who can cause damage to the opposition. And I think having Ridvan back and starting is a major, huge step forward. I think we've badly missed Ridvan. I think that is definitely a big step forward there. James says, unpopular opinion, I'd let Barisic get 5 minutes at the end. Don't let his last game, let's be the club, be that Celtic game. I mean, it's an interesting one. I think he will get minutes. I don't think that Clement will not play him at some point tonight. Not sure why BB is even on the bench with Fraser there. Should have been given the spot to another youngster. Bluebells are blue, good point. I think it's basically because it is probably Barisic's last ever home game for Rangers. I would dare to say we will see Roof and Barisic at some point. I think we will smash them. That will be typical of this lot. Pressure off. I agree, Aldo. I do think that is a possibility. That is classic Rangers, isn't it? It really is classic Rangers that once the pressure's off, we play like prime Real Madrid. We suddenly become the greatest team in the world, don't we? The moment we don't have any pressure on us. That is the worrying thing, that these players don't seem to be able to deal with pressure. The players don't seem to be able to handle the stress of a title race, to handle the stress of having to actually chase down Celtic and get after Celtic. They struggle, and the moment the pressure's off, that's when they play their best football. We saw that to some degree at the end of last season. We saw some decent performances towards the end of last season. Why? Because again, the pressure was off. So yeah, I agree with you there. They do. I think once the pressure is off, kind of become prime Real Madrid, prime Barcelona, and suddenly we think, well, how the hell has this team not won the league this season? But it's all to do with pressure. Once the pressure's not on, once you're not in a title race anymore, once that lot have won the league, it's just what it is. It's what Rangers have become, isn't it? A little bit, and it's a mindset we've got to change over this summer. We really do have to change it over this summer. We really do have to to right that wrong, don't we? We do have to right that wrong and get us back to a little bit back to where we were, in the past. And I think that's a big one. That's a big one for me. Let's get back to where we were in the past. Right, guys. Team, I'll keep the team up on the screen so I can take this off so I can talk to you and get your comments up as well. Okay, so what comments have we got coming through? Janet says, Lundstrom looked like he wanted sent off after getting stuck from the... Yeah, possible. Evening, Stephen. How you doing, buddy? Hope to God some of these injured players are back for the final. Seema, particularly Sterling. Also, I think that's a great shout from Scott. I really do hope that they are back. Seema, for me, in particular, is an absolute class act. You look at Abdallah Seema, you look at what he brings to the team. He's a top player. And I can't remember where I heard it, but someone made a great point about him on Saturday, that if he'd been playing instead of Silva on Saturday and he'd had those 2 chances that Silva had, I think they both end up in the back of the net. How Raskin plays the next 2 games could determine if Lunny plays in the final for me. Raskin could be the factor to PC keeping the fans on side or not. Absolutely, 100% agree. Well, good point from Bluebells there. I agree. If Raskin plays well today against Dundee and then against Hearts on Saturday, then there is no need for Lunny to come back anywhere near this team. Absolutely, 100% agree on that one. Matrix on PC says Bodo Glimt in season 38% of games was played by academy players. Why can't we do similar? That's a great point. That's a great point, Matrix. I mean, it's something I've been saying a lot, is why are we not playing the likes of Bailey Rice, Cole McKinnon, Alex Lowry, now he's back, against some of these teams down the bottom of the league pre-split, against the St Johnstons, the Livies, the Ross Counties, the Hibs of this world. These are teams that these youngsters, if they can't play against, if they can't look a class above against these lower teams, then they're not Rangers class and they need to be sold on. And we do need to look at that. I agree. Got to win the Scottish Cup, especially on the day the Sir Walter Smith statue is going up. I agree, 100%, Aldo. But I hope to God nobody says it before the final. There's so many players I never want to see wearing a Rangers. Absolutely, me too, Paul. Me too, Paul. Me too. Watch the Celtic game and Davis never left the penalty box. That's no way to press. DL2 says we might bottle it again tonight. I certainly hope we don't, DL2. But there's no pressure, DL2 tonight. That's the difference. We need at least 1 centre-backs to return for the final. Can't start Ben Davis and Leon King in the cup final against Celtic. I mean, a lot depends on how, perhaps, if Leon King looks fantastic and top class over these next 2 games, James, why not? Why not? We need a high-quality striker instead of Dessers every game, DL2 Modder puts a point. I agree with you, 100% agree with you. RFC56, how you doing? Shut the academy down if we're not going to use it. I agree. And, as I said, I released a video earlier this week, didn't I? Those of you who remember it, about the steps to success for Rangers. And I talked about using the academy, getting some of these young players through, not just to generate income, but also to see, what we've got. And there's something special, isn't there, about a player who's come through our academy, who is a Rangers player, who is a Rangers man through and through, like the McCauslands of this world, Nathan Pattersons, Billy Gilmores, etc., representing our club, pulling on the Rangers blue and going out there. Yeah, so, I agree with that. I think that's a good point. David P says, meaningless game tonight. Not one young player gets a sniff. I'd given up hope of us bringing through youth. I think obviously Leon King, McCausland, kind of the young players. And I think, there's a hope there that maybe second half we might see Yefeka, we might see Fraser, Alex Lowry, Cole McKinnon. Yeah, I think that's a point we need. We need to see these guys, don't we? We need to see them playing. We need to see them performing on a regular basis. That's a big thing, isn't it? We need to see these guys getting a chance. Janet McFarlane makes a brilliant point here. She says that young players have no fear. Let's see what they can do. And that's a point. Young players on the whole play without fear, because at the end of the day, they want to prove themselves. They want to go out there. They've got no preconditioned scarring, have they? They've got no preconditioned, thoughts about what it is to be a Rangers player and the pressure that Rangers are under. And for me, that's a great shout. That's a great shout. 100% good shout. Now, but going back to this team today, going back to those 5 players that are behind Dessers today, that is an attacking lineup. That is an attacking formation. Neither Raskin or Diamande are particularly sitting players. They're not players who will just sit in front of the back four and wreck and destroy and break up the game the way that perhaps Lundstrom does, or Jack would do, or some of those other players over time that have done that. So hopefully we'll see a very forward-thinking midfield, a very progressive attacking midfield today. Raskin getting forward, Diamande sitting in that pivot role and being like the quarterback, kind of directing operations and spraying passes here, there, and everywhere, and then letting Raskin be the man who goes box to box, or maybe even, even going through a situation. Paul, he's injured. That's why he's injured. Who do I want out of Rangers the most? John Lundstrom, 100% John Lundstrom, DL2 mod, 100%. Lundstrom, Barisic, definitely. Tavernier, I'd love to see him gone. Goldson, I'd love to see him gone as well. Our young players can't be great when you look at what other teams play youth-wise. That's a decent point. Why isn't Bailey Rice getting a run out and Cole McKinnon on a regular basis? We rave or we talk about buying Lennon Miller or Davy Watson from Killie, or buying Connor Barron, from Aberdeen. Yet, arguably, have we got midfielders in there that are just as good as these kids, but haven't had the opportunity? The Cole McKinnons, the Alex Lowrys, the Bailey Rices of this world. 100%. What about Tillman possibly being a £120 million player? Well, I don't know about that, but maybe. Tav, Goldson and Lundstrom, the very top of the list. Those are the priorities to ship out, says David P. Aldo says, agree, Tav, about him. He will probably still be here. I can't see Tav leaving unless we get a ridiculous bid from the Saudis. I genuinely think Tav will still be here next season. And I actually genuinely think Tav will still be captain next season. And I genuinely think Tav will still be starting next season. I don't know why I think that. I just think it is the case that it will happen. Janet says, hopefully Cantwell is pure pissed about being left out and puts in a performance to book his place in the final. Janet, that's a great shout. Good shout from Janet there. I hope we do see that tonight. I mean, I like Todd Cantwell. I think he's the one player that can unlock a defence, can do something, a little bit more special than anybody else can. And in terms of him and Lawrence, it's chalk and cheese. Cantwell works harder than Lawrence for me. He's faster than Lawrence. He's more skillful than Lawrence. I don't know why Lawrence gets in over him in the Old Firm games. If Raskin was giving minutes before this, Lunny should have been dropped for him. Twice the player. He just needs minutes. I agree. I don't know why Raskin hasn't had minutes. We heard the answer from Philippe Clermont that because Dowell and Lawrence and so on have come into the team, and Diamande, that's why. But you know what? We won't know, do we? We won't know. Tav paid as defender. He can't defend. I want goals to Lundstrom out of the team. James says, Tav has a family. Does he really want to force them to going to live in Saudi Arabia? I mean, that's a good shout, James. But if someone's willing to pay you £120,000 a week, you know what, you'd probably take it. You'd probably take it because it'll set you up about for life, wouldn't it? Owen, has there been anything new about Johnston from West Ham? Well, apparently he is in pole position to go to Palace. That's what I'm hearing at the moment. Half the squad need to go. It's really a mess. Massive summer ahead for the absolutely RFC 56. It is a huge summer for us. It is a big summer. We do need a big changeover in player personnel. I better not see Lunny next season. DL2 modern, me neither. If Tav should be playing, if the bench next season, the captaincy took off him, I don't think it will be, Janet, if he's still here. Drain the swamp. I'm sick of losing to the mutants, says Sharpie. Sharpie, I agree with you. Tav, Golson, Lundstrom and Barisic don't bring anything to the team. They are lazy. Canwell should be in the starting lineup from the word go, says Stephen. Agreed. Nothing to disagree with you about that. Could afford a live-in teacher for the kids with that cash. Absolutely, Bobby. Time for the youth to give a performance to show Clement about next season. I agree. And, you know, this is the thing. I think, you know, it is a situation where these youngsters could really make a difference. Good evening, Ziggs. How you doing, buddy? You know, these youngsters could save us an awful lot of money. They really genuinely could. You know, they are capable of, you know, if they are as good as some of them are, you know, rumored to be, you know, the likes of, for example, Bailey Rice, Cole McKinnon. It could be that they will save us some money. You know, that is a possibility. David says, if Tav doesn't want to go to Saudi, I'll go in his place. Sick of this Dreek Scottish weather. Why has Tav not been tried right mid with Sterling at right back this season? Because we know Sterling is a better defender. Hopefully he's not out for long. It's just a doubt so he can be in midfield. Alexander, I think I'd say about that is that Canwell, I don't think is fast enough to play in midfield. I don't think he's fast enough to play as a winger. He's too slow. That is the one thing I would say about him, that he hasn't got the pace to be an out-and-out winger. Okay, this is the Dundee team for tonight. Let's bring that up and show you. Just share this with you. So the Dundee team for tonight is as follows. McCracken in goal, Dodgson, Astley, McGee, Tiffany, Bakayoko, who is a decent player, Cameron McCowan, who's a player you've got to stop. He is a good player. Boateng, Silla, and Portales. Their subs bench is Sharp, Main, Mulligan, Robinson, Robertson, Howley, Donnelly, Mellon, and Costello. That is their team for today's game. Obviously, the big threats there, you kind of pick out, is Bakayoko and McCowan. They are the biggest threats, I think, for Dundee tonight. They're the ones that, you know, we've got to kind of watch tonight. Sharpie says in the live chat, he says, we better win the Scottish Cup or Clement's under real pressure going into next season if he's still here. Look, I agree, Sharpie. You know, I don't think we should sack him. I don't think that's the answer. Sacking Clement, I think, would be a regressive step. But by the same token, Sharpie, if he doesn't win the Cup, especially if he starts Lundstrom, you know, we're going to face a situation where we have got a manager who has not beaten Celtic once, has got a pretty poor record against them. If his lineup and his tactics are not great against them, again, you're going to be questioning that, saying, well, in all his old firm games, he's got the tactics wrong, he's got the shape wrong, he's got the pick wrong. You know what? It is a worry. It is a worry. James says, I thought McCrory would have been given a chance tonight as Butland will be off next season. James, I wouldn't be so sure after what was said by Philippe Clement that he is not for sale at any price. Paul says, Owen, why don't we go looking to the English Championship for new players? Maybe some hidden gems there. There might be, Paul, but the problem is a lot of the young players that are coming through the English Championship cost an absolute arm and a leg. I mean, you look at the likes of, I think the guy whose name was Alex Scott, who went from Bristol City to Bournemouth, was 21 million. Jack Clark, who's at Sunderland at the moment, he's been talked about for 25 million going up to the Premier League. You know, a lot of the good young players in the Championship, you're looking at 20 to 30 million pounds to get them these days because of the budgets down south been so much bigger than us and bigger than what we are able to provide. You know, you're even looking at, you know, young midfielders like Archie Gray at Leeds, been 80 million or something like that. Bayern Munich allegedly preparing a bid for him of 80 million. So there's a lot of money to get those youngsters out of England. That is the big issue. I meant Sterling for centre midfield for the Cup, hopefully. Absolutely, I agree. I think Sterling should be in centre midfield. He is probably one of our best centre midfielder. I think this live is quite balanced. I do too. I think it has got a nice balance to it, Ziggs. You know, McCausden right, Silver left, attacking midfielders. Agree, got to give Clement the season to get his own players in, take it from there. Agree, Janet. Matrix says we've signed loads of duds from the chat. We have signed some, absolutely. We should only keep Clement if we're prepared to stick with him for a few transfer windows. I don't want to see him sacked 3 months into next season after a summer window. This is the point that I've been making, David, all along. You know, if we keep just sacking managers, if we have a revolving door on the on the manager's door at Ibrox, then all that's going to happen is we're going to turn into another Chelsea or another Watford, you know, a team that massively underperforms. We're going to become, you know, Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig to Stuttgart to Celtic's Bayern Munich, and that's not how we need to be for me. Alexander says we need to look for our market like Celtic did with the J-League market, how much they got for them players. Agreed, Alexander. I think that's a great point. I'm good, Blue Nose John. How you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. How are you doing, buddy? Joe, Nork and Celtic, they can pay the comp after they get the compo bill. Very true. Look, at the end of the day, guys, it is going to be, we do need to kind of vary where we go shopping, don't we? We do need to look like that. And I think the good thing is perhaps we've started to do that, you know, with Cortez from Lens, Diamande from Norgesland in Denmark. The fact we're looking at Cordoba from Levski Sofia. We're looking at Hefte from Apoel Nicosia. You know, we're looking at all these players from varied markets, and it seems like Koppen has a very big address book of different markets to look into, doesn't he? So that's a good thing. Tunnock says, I would be thinking about sacking PC, but the question is, which players has he improved so far? Some daft starting 11s not helping either. I agree, Tunnock, there has been some daft starting 11s, but I think it has been slightly curtailed by injury. And at the same point, I know that he can make some comments where you all think, what the hell is he on about? But look at it this way, guys. You can't throw a team under a bus. You can't flag players off when you've got 3 games left. You've got a cup final upcoming. You've got to do that, haven't you? You've got to keep them all on side. Absolutely, 100%. Yes, I am. Bluebells, 7:20 here on the channel. Please come along. Have a look. Controversial, but I think Ben Davis has got something. He was discarded, not giving a proper chance, says Ziggs. Scott B says he's improved no one. Yes, we will be live here on the channel doing a live stream, a live watch along, guys. So please come and join us for that. We need mostly young, hungry, athletic players with 2 or 3 experienced winners in the summer. David, I think that's what the trading model is supposed to be. It is very much supposed to be a look at, you know, having a good presence there. I'm glad you did a deep dive on the last video. It has to be the other coach too. Why the players ain't motivated or fit? Because surely the problems couldn't be just after Gerrard. It's something deeper. I agree. I agree. I think there is something wrong with these players. And I mentioned on a comment on X earlier to someone on Twitter earlier, saying that look, I think that some of these players that aren't actually injured. I think that some of these players that genuinely there's nothing wrong with them. And had we won on Saturday, I think they would have been played. I think they would have played tonight. I do worry. I really do. Andrew Russell says, what happens if Dundee sneak a 1-0? Honestly, what's the path forward? Yeah, looking into the J-League and the MLS and the K-League might well be a good idea. Let's just recap the team again. For those of you who've missed it, is on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to take that one off now. And obviously, let's have a look at this team for tonight. So team is Butland, Tav, Davies, King and Ridvan. Obviously, Leon King comes in. This is a great point from Janet. Massive fitness problem at Rangers needs to be sorted ASAP. Agree. 196 people watching, guys. Please obviously smash the like. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, help us on our journey to 6,000 subs. It would be fantastic if we could get there at some point before the end of the season. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so, please help us get there. J-League is a great call. Should have kept Arfield. Oh, mate, we should have definitely kept. I don't know about Kamara and Bassi because Bassi was a lot of money. But for me, yeah, I agree. We should have kept hold of of Scott Arfield. I love Scotty. Loved it. You can't see me doing the salute. I genuinely believe there are a few players who have hold of the locker room that do not provide a base for success. Until they go, we won't move forward. The names are obvious. I agree, buddy. I agree 100% with that one, Bluebells. I think there are some within the so-called leadership group who are causing a lot of damage to this team. I think that they want things their own way, that they control things, that they control what goes on. So for me, I agree. I 100% agree with you. Guys, 204 people watching. Please smash that like. Norwegian markets untapped. Matrix, good shout. Good shout. Agreed, Geordie. Some of these players need a wake-up call. Yeah, absolutely. What have we got here? Dundee have just called the game off. Too much sun they played. Love it. Andrew Russell says, I'm not a Rangers fan, but they're an important club in Scotland and the current situation is a bit woeful. Andrew, you should try being a Rangers fan, mate. It is just awful at the moment. Arfield always gave 110%, would fight for the badge. Agreed. Love old Scotty Arfield. Very happy to see young Leon King getting another game. I like Leon King. I thought Leon King looked decent towards the end of last season when he had to play with the injuries that were there. I really genuinely do think that was the case. 100% agree. 100% agree. I remember first watching the channel and I didn't agree with your opinion on Barisic. I hold my hands up. You were correct. I'm a big fan of the channel. Thank you. I am Neo. Thank you very much. Like I said, look, I don't care if you don't agree with me. That's fine. You don't have to agree with me, guys. One thing I think we miss as football fans is the fact that this is a game of opinions. We all have different opinions, don't we, at the end of the day? You know, we all have our own opinions on the game and sometimes we disagree, but that's within a fan base. If all Rangers fans across the world all agreed that on the same things, it would be a boring discussion, wouldn't it? Sterling came on a wee bit under the manager. He did. I know, mate, I support Celtic. Oh, dear. Never mind. Arfield, the ultimate super sub. Tam, why would I waste any more time on these serial loosey, wimpy fan dans? Tav will get skint and lose. Oh, dear me. You're not happy there. Tam isn't. Is this Cameron's last ever game at Ibrox? No, I hope not. I can see why you think that, though, Blue Nose. There is a kind of doubt over him, isn't there? There is a kind of worry that the manager doesn't really buy into Cantwell, that he's got a bit of an issue with him after he dropped him the weekend. So I think there is a little bit of a worry there for me, Blue Nose, that it could be his last game. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Arfield and Hadji, big misses this season. Absolutely. If Silver is leaving, why don't we just play Lowry? That's a good shout from RFC 56. There may be a situation, though, where there is a percentage clause in his contract of the number of times and games he's got to play. Hence why we're still playing him. I don't know. Scott Arfield put the work in. He worked hard. I would like Scotty Arfield back, guys. Stephen Moorhead, I would love Scotty back. Do the Scotty salute, 100%. Reese Ball says Cho Gu Sung, Luke McCowan, Daniel Armstrong, players that Reese would like to see. Daniel Armstrong's a good shout, mate. He's a good winger. I think we need to end the snobbery. I think we do need to end the snobbery, guys, and bring in some Scottish players. You know, Scottish players that get the league, Scottish players that understand what it is to play for Rangers, Scottish players that understand the rivalry between Celtic and Rangers. You know, I think we do need that, 100%, 100%. Blue Nose Campbell is an Arfield in the making, in my opinion. Decent shout. I don't know, Blue Nose. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have a look into it before the live stream, see if I can find out some information on it. Could you imagine Arfield and Clement? Good shout. Absolutely. Alexander, spot on. Cameron is a joker and Phil does not like the fact he will not toe the line. I believe that's why Phil has dropped him. I mean, that's the issue, isn't it, there? That is a worry. But you've got to have characters in your team. You can't have you look at the great successful Rangers teams of the past, Gazzers, the McCoists, just absolute characters, absolute characters. I mean, Gazza is my all-time favourite player. And when he wore that shirt, it was just awesome, wasn't it? Absolutely awesome. 100%. SPFL has a lot of good domestic players now. Last season, the only two I rated were Kevin Nisbet and Kevin Van Veen. A lot more variety to choose from at a reasonable price. I mean, obviously, the issue, Reese, is there is a Rangers tax, isn't there? I think it was because we were down to 10. Cantwell was hopeless on the wing when Clement first came in, and he had to drop the attacking midfielder back and put on Raskin. I mean, that's a decent shout, James. That could be a reason why. But like I said, why not go 3 at the back? 4 in mid 3-4-3-7, 3-4-2 or something like that, and just attack, because at the end of the day you might as well get beat 5-1 as get beat 2-1, especially as, you know, at the end of the day it does not matter. It's pissing down with rain, no walkout, says Scott B. Love Gaza, what a man, especially heading off the stand off in 2010. Gaza only, lol. I was thinking of Armstrong all day. If we could somehow do a deal and get in Scott Wright in the mix, we could pull it off, because Derek McInnes likes Scott Wright. That's a good thing, you know. Put a bit of money, Scott Wright as a make weight. Good shout there from Alexander Cameron. So the team today, like I said, I think there's a lot of attacking promise tonight. There's a lot of attacking push there. I really want to see this team go out there and attack tonight and have a go at Dundee. Look, I know the pressures. I know there's nothing to play for anymore. But there is really, because number one, you're playing for your place next season. Number two, you're playing for a club where every game matters. You're playing for a club where every game should matter, where you should care about this badge, about this jersey. This is what it's about. Push for a loan move for Charlie Patino, Arsenal player on loan to Swansea when Jers were linked with Sterling and Yates last summer with Blackpool, hoping we would nab him up. I think this whole Cantwell attitude thing is bollocks. So we are saying that he's had an attitude problem at the weekend, so didn't play, but not tonight. I agree. I don't know how you can have an attitude problem one game, but then not have it another game. I agree on that one. Gaza was some player. Him and Laudrup agreed. I don't want to see RFC slide further. Players aren't giving it everything, because RFC are a part of keeping Celtic honest. If we get too phone it, absolutely agree with that one. I'm agreeing with the Celtic fan. Jesus. Mind when Ali and Gaza kicked off on the field, it made them better. Absolutely, they were awesome on the field. Cameron has never turned up in an old firm, and we need players who will going forward. I mean, good point, John. But I suppose he didn't get a chance, did he, on Celtic? Love Moles, so did I. Absolutely classic player, Michael Moles. Look, the end of the day tonight, like I said, this is a very attacking lineup. This is a very forward-thinking lineup. You know, there are players on the bench as well who can, again, come on and make a difference. The Roofs, the Frasers, the Lowrys, the McKinnons. You know, hopefully this is a chance tonight to go out and put some goals on Dundee. Number one, we owe them for that drab 0-0 at Dens Park, and that was just an awful game, and we do owe them for that. But look, tonight I want to see these players go out and play with some freedom tonight. Look, at the end of the day, there is no pressure on. There's absolutely no pressure on. There isn't any pressure on. We need to go out there and play free, flowing football. We need to be banging form, ready for that cup final. And, you know, all these players that are out there tonight, all these players that are that starting 11 and those subs bench, they've got to be thinking that there are 11 starting places up for grabs in that cup final. And I want to go out and prove that I should play in that cup final, that I want to be on that Hampden Park pitch on the 25th against Celtic, that I want to win the second cup this season. That's what those guys should be doing tonight. That's what I would be doing tonight. If I was pulling on the jersey tonight, I'd be going out there and trying to prove to everybody that I deserve to be on the pitch. Does everyone remember that Aberdeen, when Arfield came off the bench and we won Insham? Yeah, Paul, those 2 Arfield goals. Super Scotty. Look, God, I love old Super Scotty. When has Lawrence turned up in an old firm? Cantwell turned up in the game that never meant anything. Lawrence, he didn't even do that. Good point. Nothing to lose. Mix it up. Scott Wright has some immense pace, but he gets slandered too often. He isn't experienced enough and is held back by the dross around him. Put him on the 11 for a laugh. Interesting. Would like to see Barron and Danny Armstrong come in next year. I think there's a chance that, you know, Barron could come in, given the fact that, you know, he is free. Well, he's not free. You've got to pay a compensation for him. So I do think that is a possibility, a real possibility. Yeah. So, and have a look, you know. Yeah, guys, that's it. Guys, just a reminder, we will be going live at 7:20 as well tonight with the game. So please obviously join us for that. We'll never get that type of player. We can't afford. Yeah, we can't. You know, we're not going to get the Gazas and the Laudrups or the Amos or the Rixons or the Albertses or the Moles or the Nacho Novos or the Marco Negris ever again now. So yeah. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. And we've got to kind of come to that realization that we're not in the same place, you know, that we used to be at all. It's a great opportunity for the lads. Absolutely. Tickled. Scott Wright is dross. Wright is pissed getting gone. Arfield goal versus Celtic in the semi versus Celtic, that 2-1 win extra time after the Europa quarter-final. Where's the fight gone now? I love that goal. I love that goal. Absolutely fantastic. Still want the half the team was going to go tonight, but weather and the rain, I said, fuck that. Ravanelli, man, what a player. There's plenty of rich Rangers fans. Let's get them some investing in the club, Bobby. Got recommendation on my Facebook from 2 years ago about us reaching a Europa final. Even my Facebook laughing at me, lol. Oh, dear. Owen, how long will Clement be at Rangers if we lose the cup final in the first Old Firm, or will it be more dependent on performances as in competitive? Scott, that's a brilliant question. I honestly think that if he loses the cup final and then he loses the first Old Firm game of next season, the pressure will grow on the board to sack him. Unfortunately, I love our fans to bits, but I think our fan base doesn't have that long-term tolerant attitude of this is a long-term project. And if you don't beat Celtic, if you are not a manager that has a good record against Celtic, on the whole, you don't last very long at Rangers. So for me, if he loses the cup final and loses his first game of next season against Celtic, I think he could well be gone. We got McCausland for that running winger. We don't need Wright. We need players with end product. Absolutely. Catches after absolutely fantastic, Janet. No worries. But we do want those who play for the jersey and will fight. Absolutely, Derek. That's all I've ever wanted, isn't it? Players that fight for this jersey, players that run through the wall for this jersey, players that care about this badge, that fight for this badge. That's what we want, isn't it? David King on that stage. David King, is that you trying to take over the club again? Clement here next season, even if he loses a couple of windows, says Aldo. In fairness, as good as these players were, they didn't get us to a European final. There's still hope. If we can put a decent squad together, we can do well. Agreed. I think, we do need to get a decent squad together in the summer. Summer is massive. Summer is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Also, look at Aussie winger. Looks like a real gem. Plays for MacArthur. Oh, yes. Rodriguez Borges or something, isn't it? That's him there. At this rate, the fans better scouts the actual board are. How did Rangers end up in this position? 7 million blown on Lammers. It was 4.5, I think. Hello, people. Follow. Hello. Absolutely. The fans will chase PC early next season. I agree. Look, that's what fans are. All football fans of all clubs are the same. We all want success. We all want our team to succeed. We all want our team to win. We all want our team to be the team. We all want to win leagues, win cups, go forth in Europe, to beat your rivals. That's just the way it is. And, realistically, it's there's always going to be pressures on managers. There's always going to be pressures on a manager at Rangers if he doesn't beat Celtic. And that's what it is. That's how it is. If you lose 4 times to Celtic and win the league, you're still going to have people saying, yeah, but you didn't beat Celtic. It's what it is, guys. We know that. DL2 Modder says, apparently I'm a fake Jers fan since I admitted that Celtic are better this season. I'll be honest with you, DL2. They are shit this season, but we've kind of given it back to them. They are. I think the difference between the two teams is the midfield. I think that's the big difference for me, is the midfield. Their midfield of O'Reilly, Hatate and McGregor is better than our midfield. I think that's what the major difference is. Because if you look at everywhere else, Kyogo hasn't scored as many goals as Dessers. Our defence, even though it's dodgy as fuck, still doesn't concede as many goals as them. Jack Butland is a better goalkeeper than Joe Hart. But the midfield is the difference. And I think overall, Celtic are shit. Celtic are a rubbish team. Of course they are. You've just got to look at their Champions League record this season. But what the difference is their midfield of Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor is better than our midfield. And that's why they win games against us. The important thing for Rangers to do is to get the transfer. Absolutely, we've got to do it early, Gary. I 100% agree. Get the players in, get the players back as soon as possible. 100% agree with that. On your point there. That's what it's all about. So, recapping the team for tonight's game, guys. Butland, Tav, King, Davis, Ridvan, Diamande, Raskin, McCausland, Cantwell, Silva and Dessers. Subs today, McCrory, Dowell, Scott Wright, Roof, Barisic, Yefeko, Fraser, Lowry and McKinnon. Nice to see some exciting young players at least on the bench. David says, once we get into the position where we in pre-3-3 Old Firm, we should have won this league. We bottled it. Agree, David. Agree. DL2 modder, tell him every time they shout on the hoops, they're referring to us. We were the first team in Scotland to wear hoops in 1882. Leaving that 94-95 season kit in the background. Plan on getting a Gaza one for myself. That one there. Yeah, it's a great kit, guys. Love it. Calm down, Chris. What have we got? Think about it. Had Rodgers lost to a substandard injury-ravaged Jers, he wouldn't have been in that job long. Lundstrom has probably kept him in job. Probably has. Be back shortly. Need to get the baby's bottle ready. Lol. Have nice one, Curry. Okay, guys, we are going to call that a pod for the moment. I will be back at 7:20 here on the channel. Back in about 19 minutes to bring you the live watch along of tonight's game. So obviously, please stay with us. Come back with us for that, guys. Thank you very much to everyone who's been in tonight. Thank you to all your comments tonight. Fantastic as always. Love the support. Please smash the like. Please obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I'll be back very, very shortly, guys. And on the way out, 2 jobs I always ask of you. Number 1, smash the like. Number 2, remember always, never forget, no matter what they say, we are the people.